Hello and welcome to Business with Smith Co. Hello and welcome back to Business with Smith Co. Today we're going to be talking about the product life cycle. So basically, a life cycle of a product it generally takes on a similar trend to most goods and services. So some products might be launched to huge demand. So for example, a business that already has a massive following, like a business that is already very successful. You know, if this channel, let's say, had 1 million subscribers and launched a video and it would gain 100,000 views. That's kind of the thing. Where you already have multiple products. The brand is already doing very well itself. So any project it launches, or any service, any service it launches will generally be launched to a huge demand. Now, obviously, now and again, businesses may reach a point in which, they are a very successful business, and if they launch, 99 times out of 100, if they launch a product or service, it'll do fantastically simply because of the brand. Now, it may not do as well as ordinarily. Like, if we release a video, it may gain 0 views. If a channel has 1 million subscribers, 10 million subscribers, 50 million subscribers, and it releases a video, it might get 1 million views, but that might not be the same as it ordinarily is. But that's still a huge demand. However, other products, sometimes products need to be reinvented to have a comeback. So, let's say we make this video, but we left a bunch of things out, which, sorry if we do, if we leave a bunch of things out, sorry if we do that. It may be just in another video, but if we do leave other things out, we might think, oh, well, let's bring this back, or if the channel is not successful, create a new channel or something like that, or, create a new series, whatever, revamp and relaunch and have a big comeback. Or you have a different thing, which is a completely different start. Now, sometimes this sort of thing where you have reinventing thing also comes in line with if the product is coming in line with things such as it ties in with already successful things. So let's say you have a product that's just basic sort of thing, but then you have another product from that same company that uses their kind of style, but it matches it up with another thing. And that sort of that works with cooperative relationships. If one company that ordinarily wouldn't really match up with another company, for example, if a fitness company matches up with a movie company, then they say, well, you get to watch movies on your fitness device. What are they going to be? That's the thing. I mean, personally, I actually don't have a fitness device because they're very expensive at times. But that's the sort of thing. That may be actually in effect. And I'm not, not saying that's not in effect, but that's an example of that sort of thing. However, generally, the life cycle of product goes through these following stages. So there's the introduction, then there's the growth, there's the maturity, there's the saturation and decline, and then there's a sales revenue going all the way through that. And how you'd write this in a graph would be introduction, growth, maturity, saturation, and decline, or as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then sales revenue, you have your line going up, and that's marked on one side. On the y-axis, you've got your sales, x-axis, you got your time, at the top, you got your title. And that sort of thing you have there. And generally, it works like this. So basically, at the introduction stage, the product is launched to market. It may be alongside, it generally is alongside a promotional campaign to create awareness. Sales and profits are quite low. The product is not very well known. There are heavy costs for advertising campaigns to raise awareness. And revenue is low. Sales figures haven't begun to increase, so a business needs to have cash reserves to cope during this time. So, for example, this channel, not much money made out of it. So if we decide to have an advertising campaign, there's no way to fund that from its own self. So obviously later down the line, a product can technically fund itself. So let's say a product is making after profits, and this is like after paying everyone and paying all bills. If it's making a significant amount of money, you can use that money, which is after everyone is paid, to advertise, and that helps because that means that you don't actually have to have technically cash reserves. Although you do want to have cash reserves just a little bit though to cover other unexpected things. During the growth stage, sales and profits both grow as brand awareness increases. The consumers need to buy and spread positive word of mouth about the product. It starts to take up a portion of the market share. However, at this stage, receipts increase and usually exceed payments. This leads to a net cash surplus, allowing the business to add money to its reserves. And obviously, this helps to if you incur costs down the line, this helps so that you have that cost to cover things. If you are making more than you need to live on, if you're not living paycheck to paycheck, if you're actually making enough money that technically you could, the product could have a massive dip in its sales, but you'd still be able to survive, then that's a good thing. And then obviously you have maturity. Now, maturity is where sales reach their peak and the product is very well known, or just in some cases it's just known as much as it's going to be in the marketplace by customers. This is generally a good time for the business to plan and research new products to launch or adapt to make, because at this point the product is doing well, but it's not going to do any better. There's no point thinking, because the likelihood, obviously, sometimes the stage will last for years, but it's a good time to think, we're not growth, because obviously at a growth stage, you could suddenly go down, you don't know, you're growing, it's all sporadic. If the channel just went viral, then, there'll be a growth stage, you'll be going, well, you could, any day, it could just drop. And that's the point. At the growth stage, but now it's maturity. Now it's not growing as much. It's a steady thing, but at some stage it is going to go down. So this time, you might want to consider making changes, but just to maintain overall sales. Just to be able to keep it for longer, keep that sales continuing, because by launching adaptations you can keep that maturity lasting longer, and this helps so that a lot of the time for especially major companies, maturity stage can last for years. In fact, there are products that are that have been running for many years, and they're in the maturity stage now, and they have been for many years. So at this point, cash flow is generally very good. The product is well known, or is the best it's going to be known. So the advertising can be used, but costs generally lower for this, and sales figures are really at the highest level. It also means that, at this point, really, you are going to be a more trusted product, because you aren't just sort of having a sudden growth where it's like, technically, you're high selling, but you're high selling now, so there's no real telling. It's always kind of going up, being up, now if you're coming up. But now you're the mature stage. It's constant sort of thing. There's a pretty much, you're generally considered a safe product. Of course, this is not always the case. There are outliers. Next comes saturation. Profits are steady, but they're no longer growing at all. Sales have completely leveled off. The market share has been fully reached, and a business needs to adjust its marketing mix. For example, change the selling price or where it is selling to extend the life of the product. Now, this is a stage where even if you have adaptations, there's going to be no growth. Really. You are getting very close to decline. So sales have leveled off and products face new competition. So cash flow might be negatively affected by launching a new advertising campaign or sales promotions activity, which might result in a net cash deficit. Now, this is the point in which, while maturity generally there's not many increases, there can be increases. They're not as big as when it's growth, but it's when it's maturity, it's like it's starting to level off. It's it might increase by a bit, but it's not at the stage of growth. Now saturation, of course, there's there's pretty much no growth. There is no real. There could be. You'd be looking at a very unlikely ad of actually any point in advertising. However, next comes decline. Now, at decline, sales and profits fall as other competitors and newer ideas take over the market. The demand of the good or service falls. The product might be phased out of production by the business and withdrawn from the market, or it might be a problem when businesses sometimes they keep fighting, they keep trying to keep it there, and that can cause problems. Because if you have a product and you're continuing to make it even though sales are dropping, then you're going to begin to come into a problem. Because a business might need to cut the selling price to increase the sales of the last of its stock. This will reduce revenue per unit, but it might also be able to stop all production, minimizing its costs. A business might be lucky enough that someone else might have bought up all their stock, and then they can cut promotion at that point, which means the product is still not sold to the consumer necessarily, but it might be still, they might not incur any more costs. Anyway, if you want to find out what exactly the methods a business could consider to extend its product life cycle, you can watch that in our next audio thing. So please do join us then and do view other videos. We have we do have other videos available. We do have other audio available and videos. And please do subscribe to the channel. It does help. We are hoping to reach a new level at some point. That'd be nice. Anyway, see you next time. Hopefully, it will be good for you to come back.